So far we discussed a case of dice, then cards, then numbers, and bags and balls as well. Now let's talk about the one very common case, that is about coins. So we are going to start with the 2 coins, then 3 coins as well. So let's start with the 2 coins first. Let's read the question. 2 different coins are tossed simultaneously. Matlab both of them are being tossed at a time. Find the probability of getting at least one head. Okay, at least one head. Okay, so before we move on to that one, let's talk about the first step, total number of outcomes. So outcomes. Now this is an interesting part over here. So when you toss the coin, just giving you the simple idea. Okay, let's say either you can get head or either you can get tail, right? This is for the first coin. Now for the second coin, head or tail, then head or tail. Now if you want to get the outcomes, that's very simple. You follow this path, this and this, that will give you H, H. You follow this path, H, and this T, that will give you H, T. Then follow this path and go up, that is T, H, and if you follow this path, that will be T, T. Now you must be thinking, why am I doing this thing over here? This is for the purpose of understanding that how we are getting 4 outcomes, right? If you already remember this, it is easy to remember the 4 outcomes. But with the case of 3 coins, you will be having 9 outcomes, right? So in that case, I'm going to draw this as well for the 3 coins. That will help you to understand how to write the outcomes. Not everybody can remember the outcomes. If you remember, very good, appreciate yourself, right? I'm talking generally that how to write the outcomes. So total number of outcomes, let's write total number of outcomes are how many? 4, right? H, 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 T, T, H, T, T, right? Head and tail basically. Okay, now what we are interested in, find the probability of getting at least one head. Okay, so probability of at least one head, question mark. This is what we want to find here. Okay, so we want to find the probability of at least one head. Now here we need to understand the meaning of word at least. At least means, you know, at least get the 17 marks in exam, right? At least get the 20 marks. At least means minimum itna to chahiye hi, right? So this means that minimum one head. Okay, now we need to interpret the meaning of this thing. Minimum means 2 heads are accepted, minimum 1 head, right? So generally we can write over here that number of heads, right, minimum, right, that you can take greater or equal to 1. 1 भी चलेगा, 2 भी चलेगा, 3 भी चलेगा, 4 भी चलेगा, right? But less than 1 is not accepted. इतने तो होने ही चाहिए, right? So first of all, let's count for the 1 head. Okay, I'm starting with the number of heads. Let's say we will be having 2 possibilities, 1 head or 2 heads, right? We cannot have 3 heads over here. Remember one thing, it's not possible here. So 1 head, how many times 1 head is coming? This 1 and 2. So 2 times 1 head is coming, and 2 heads, how many times it is coming? Yes, one more time, 1 time only, sorry. So 1. So what is the total number of outcomes over here? 2 plus 1, that is 3, right? Remember, number of heads minimum matlab greater or equal to 1, right? 1 is also accepted, 2 is also accepted, 3 is also accepted, but 3 we are not having over here, so we are not going to talk about 3, right? 1 and more than 1. So let's write favorable outcomes. Favorable outcomes is 2 plus 1, that is 3, and total number of outcomes are 4. So what is the probability of getting at least one head? let's write over here final answer, probability of at least one head, right? So favorable outcomes 3 it is, total number of outcomes 4 it is, so that is our answer. Simple. So this is the case with the 2 coins only, right? I've drawn this diagram for the purpose of understanding. If you remember all 4 outcomes, no need to draw this one, right? Save your time in exam, no need to draw it. This is for the purpose of understanding. We'll draw this for these 3 coins as well, then you'll get an idea how to get those 9 outcomes. It's very easy. Few people can remember, few cannot. It's okay, nothing to worry about. And main idea of this sum is getting the meaning of at least, means minimum number of heads can be greater or equal to 1. 1 is also accepted, 2 is also accepted. Let's discuss one more question related to 2 coins, right? Let's start with that. 2 unbiased coins are tossed simultaneously. Unbiased means fair coin, right? Head on one side, tail on another one. Find the probability of getting at least one head. Okay, so before we move on, let's write total number of outcomes. Total outcomes, that is 4. When we have 2 coins, right? We are going to write the outcomes as well. Then what we need to find first, at least one head, probability of at least one head we need to find, that is question mark. Okay, so first of all, let's write the outcomes. We have already written that. One more time. So head and head here, that will give you H, head and T, that will give you H, T, here T, H, okay, TH it is, T, T, so TT it is. Done? Very simple. Now let's understand, what does this at least one head mean? At least means minimum one head. Now minimum one head means 2 heads are also possible, 3 heads are also possible, right? So we can even write like that, number of heads should be greater or equal to 1. 1 bhi chalega, 2 bhi chalenge, right? So let's count. 2 head, okay, accepted. 1 head, accepted. 1 head, accepted. 0 head, not accepted. Remember, we cannot take the 2 heads over here. So number of favorable outcomes is equal to 1, 2 and 3. Simple. So let's write the probability. Probability of at least one head. Probability of at least one head, right? So favorable outcomes, how many are there? 3. Total number of outcomes, yes, 4 it is. So that's my answer, right? Probability of at least one head, minimum one head, right? Let's move to the next question. Here we need to find the probability of at most one head. At most, probability of at most one head. Okay, now let's learn the meaning of at most. At most means opposite of this one. Maximum one head. It means that we should be having number of heads greater, lesser or equal to 1. इसका उल्टा हो जाएगा, right? We need to reverse it. Okay, so 1 is accepted and less than 1 is accepted, right? So okay, one outcome, let's write 1 head outcome and 0 head outcome. Remember that, less than 1, right? There are, let's talk about the possibility. Either you don't have head, either you have 1 head, or either you have 2 heads, right? Okay, 2 heads here, 1 head here, and this is the case where there is no head at all, right? So 3 possibilities are there regarding the head. Okay, So we will find the outcome with the 1 head and outcome with the 0 head. So 1 head, okay, here, right, this is the outcome, 1 head, then 1 head and 0 head. So you can see I have crossed it. There are 3 outcomes, right? There are 2 with the 1 head and 1 with the 0 head. So if you add it, you are going to get 3. I think answer will be similar to this one, right? So let's write the final answer. Probability of at most 1 head is equal to, what is the favorable outcome? 3. Total number of outcome here 4. So 3 by 4 is the answer. In both of the case it is 3 by 4 only. Okay, let's get for the no head, means you don't have any kind of head at all. Then what will be the outcome? Interesting one. Let's do that as well. So we want to find the probability of getting no head. So let's write probability of no head. Okay, question mark. So first of all, let's talk about the favorable outcome, right? So favorable outcomes are how many? We don't want any head at all. Here there is a head, we cannot accept. Here there is a head, not at all. Here as well, not as well. So this is the favorable outcome, right? Tail and tail, there is no head at all. So there is only one favorable outcome, right? And total number of outcomes we already know, that is 4. So let's apply the formula and directly get the answer. So favorable outcome 1 over in denominator, total number of outcomes, that is 4, right? So probability of at least 1 head is 3 by 4, at most 1 head is also 3 by 4, and no head is 1 by 4. The main idea behind this sum is to understand the meaning of at least, that is minimum, and at most, that is maximum.